Hello and welcome back. I'm Nicole, a cottage witch, and today I'm recording several things at once. A combination of one deck gone wild using the Raven's Prophecy deck. Oh, I don't have the box here. Oh well. Probably most people are familiar with this one. And what this sort of turned into in my mind was there's a question partway through about decks that this deck would like. So I made my first attempt at pairing decks, and I also got this one out because it's sort of a fall deck. So it's also, I'm going to show some autumn decks at the end, and I'll timestamp these things. So if a particular theme is of more interest, you can skip to that one. Anyway, one deck gone wild. I'm not doing all of the questions, but I'll put them all in the description below. First question, why did you pick the deck? Well, I kind of started with that because it's a bit of a fall deck with the orange and black. But also, I love the artwork, especially the color palette. I just look at those. So beautiful. Yeah, I really enjoy the colors, and it's very, that's very fall. Late summer, maybe, into fall, which is sort of where we're at now. It was like 30 degrees here last week, which was weird and very unusual for Alberta. Because usually we've had our first frost by now. When am I filming this? September 21st. Not sure when I'm going to post it yet, but 2/3 the way through September. So yeah, definitely starting to feel more like fall. Usually feels more like fall at this point. Okay. Next question, number 2, favorite set of minors, like all the 3s, all the 8s, whatever. To me, and I don't think the last time I did this I picked the 2s, but on this one I've gone with the 2s because they seem the most beautiful and sort of harmonious to me. Even that one, which maybe is not cheerful exactly, but that's okay. That's beautiful. Yeah, I love the 2s. So of all the sets, I mean, there were several others I debated choosing, but that's the one I went with. Number 3, what card reminds you to relax when it comes up? That would be, in this deck anyway, the Queen of Cups. Because look at that, it's just the moon and a feather. And that's it. Full moon, one feather. It's very still and peaceful. It just reminds me to breathe. So that's lovely. Number 4. What is your favorite representation of the color blue? Oh, here's another one that sort of reminds me to relax. Also beautiful colors. I love this. This might be one of my favorites in the deck. Sorry, distracted. Number 4, favorite representation of the color blue. Also purple in this case. And that is, well, sort of 2 of them. Is it better to put them down here? Maybe. I'm sort of losing the light because it's after work today. And the sun has started setting a bit early. So this problem is only going to worsen as we get closer to Christmas. And the cards are slightly reflective. But look at all those blues and purples. Delicious. All right. Number 5, your favorite representation of insert card here. The Empress isn't usually my favorite card in a deck. It's not usually even in the running, except in the Gentle Tarot, I think. But in this one, look at that. It's such a verdant but complex and mysterious sort of forest. And I just really enjoy that. It reminds me sort of an Emily Carr painting that I've got on my wall. And I love it. Well, I love both, the painting and this card. Number 6, what card makes you feel nostalgic? For this one, I picked the world because I'm a prairie girl. And the open prairie roads with the mountains in the distance just takes me back to childhood. Road trips across the prairies, usually going in the opposite direction of the mountains, towards more prairie. So that's what that makes me think of. Number 7, what card shifts your perspective? For me, this is the Four of Cups, because it makes me think, well, because there's only 2 of them here, but you can see their reflections. And it sort of makes me think of those inner parts of ourselves that maybe only certain people know, or even nobody really knows. And I just think that's an interesting way of thinking about the Four of Cups, because it is about connection. But there's a degree to which connection is not possible with everybody. And that degree varies person to person, I think. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting depiction. Number 8 now. Favorite animal that's represented was also the Two of Cups. That's why I couldn't find it in my pile, because it's this one. There are a lot of ravens in this, unsurprisingly, because it's called Raven's Prophecy. Shocking. But these are just so beautiful. And one is an albino raven, and yeah. Definitely my favorite animals here. Okay, number 9. Which court card reminds you the most of heartbreak? I don't know about heartbreak, and I didn't pick a court card for this. I just picked a regular minor. But the 5 of coins just makes me a bit sad, because it's it's not really surprising, because it's sometimes that sort of a card. But yeah, just the petals falling off the rose at the end of its lifespan there. Number 10. Which card constantly follows you from this deck? Oh, I'll skip that one, because I don't think I've been using this deck long enough. If you made this deck a meal, what would it be? Does pumpkin pie count as a meal? Because I could make it some good pie. What is the deck's favorite book? I think it's based on books called The Raven Cycle. I haven't read them, so I'm going to assume it's based on its favorite books would be those. Couldn't think of a better option. Number 13. If you were to travel anywhere, where would you take this deck? It wouldn't be terribly far away. I'd go to, the Capel Valley in the fall. It's middle of Saskatchewan, sort of, but it's a valley with a river running through it. And in the fall, when the leaves are turning colors, it just gets very fiery. And when you combine that with the sunsets and the big open skies with the river next to it, for some reason, I haven't been there in probably 15 years. No, longer. Yeah, 15. Something like that. So, yeah, it's been a while. Where does the deck want to go? The first thing that came to, well, the only thing that came to mind is someplace with Vikings, maybe. But I'm not really sure. Number 15. Something you would change about the deck. I can see why some other people don't like the orange borders. And if I was any good at modifying decks, I might trim them, but I'm not. So I'll live with them. I don't hate them. Some days I actually kind of like them. I've seen other people's trimmed copies, and I also like those. So, I don't know. It would be interesting to use this deck without borders. It would be a different experience, for sure. Which card would you hang in the blank room of your house? I would hang the 3 of coins in the kitchen, and that is this one. And it's just a bit, well, even though it's a coins card, it's a bit fiery to me. Well, a lot of these cards are a bit fiery to me. So that would be a nice, not huge print, but cute little print next to the Lady of Shalott in my kitchen. Number 17. Something that sets the deck apart. I mean the orange borders and the fact that it was based on a book. Other decks have been based on like pop culture things like books or movies, TV shows before, but I don't know one that's ever been created by the author, and I think she was the author of the books, the woman who created this deck. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. 21. What's the deck's biggest fear? I don't know if it has a lot of fears, but I think it's a very fiery deck that needs at least a little bit of water to keep things in check sometimes. Let's see if I can, it's a little bit of, yeah, like that. That could happen, I feel like, with this deck. So there are some more watery situations in some of these. And I think it doesn't need a lot of that, but just just enough to keep things from getting a little out of hand. If the deck had its own collection, this is number 22, what would it collect? Feathers seems the obvious choice to me. Probably raven feathers. This is not a raven feather, but I think it's a crow feather, which, family member. Number 25, who is the deck in love with? I think it's drawn to the power of the earth, is what it's connected to. Whether that's love, I don't know. Number 26, how old does the deck believe it is? I'm not sure, but it has a beginning of time quality to me for some reason. Number 29, most and least favorite card. Oh, I just picked out a least favorite card for this one. Maybe this other one can be where did that go? This one. It's probably my most favorite card. My least favorite card is this scissors with blood on them. That just seems quite dramatic. And I mean, all these cards are a bit dramatic, but that seems a bit extreme. A bit too horror movie for me. Number 31. Which card in the deck do you feel represents you right now? Somewhere in between the Fool, just going for it, and recovering from a now 3-year-old tower moment. And some days I feel like I'm still recovering, so yeah, somewhere between those. Which card, number 34, which card in this deck makes you feel calm, seen, or emotional? Temperance here makes me feel calm, though I'm not sure it's my favorite depiction of temperance. I mean, there's motion, so that's something, but I tend to view temperance as a balance of fire and water, and I'm not sure this quite does that. However, it is a very calming sort of picture. So, all right, I'm going to skip question 35 and come back to that in a second. Number 36, what is the outlier card of the deck? I'm not sure there is one, but if there was one, I'd probably go for this Knight of Swords again. And 37, what is the deck's favorite spread? I don't really do spreads, but I don't know, something fall themed, I think. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to 35 because this is where I'm going to get into deck pairing a little bit and just play with that and see how fall themed decks pair together or maybe don't in my collection. So I initially misread the question as what is the deck's favorite tarot card, which I would say is the Justice card here with the feather and the plant outweighing the treasures in the scales. But the question actually is, what is the deck's favorite tarot deck? And for that, I would say probably this one, this Guardians of the Night Tarot by MJ Cullinane. Just put that to the side. I haven't done one of these, like, actual deck pairing videos before, so let's see how this goes. Yeah, I think these, like, for me, this one just seems maybe less so this particular card, but to have some of the same fall earthy energy, and sometimes a counterpoint maybe to the Raven's Prophecy. This is nice. Similar to those lemurs. I'm not familiar with all of the animals in here. And I actually haven't used this Guardians of the Night Tarot hardly at all. I got it last year almost towards the end of fall and then just didn't really use it much, so I may have to keep it out and see if I use it more this fall season. Yeah, so this is, I think, its favorite of the tarot decks I own, of course. A favorite combination. However, so that's the Guardians of the Night Tarot. And then, of course, I got out the Urban Crow Oracle by the same artist, deck creator. Because, I mean, crows, ravens, gotta at least give it a go, right? And I haven't used this very much either. These were two decks. Because they're mass market, they were more accessible to me. And I like collage. But for some reason, I just haven't used either of them all that much. So I may probably just keep them out on my desk and, I don't know, see what transpires. That's cute. Yeah, I think that works for me. I don't know if it would work for anybody else, but it works for me. There are a couple other fall decks that I want to see if they pair, but I have less confidence in these ones. One of them is the Herbal Astrology Oracle, and for some reason, I think of this as a more fall, either early spring or late fall, mid-fall sort of deck. Couldn't tell you why. I mean, it's all plants. I guess I should actually put it in the frame here. But it doesn't seem very summery to me. Just the sort of muted colors and everything, I guess. So I have pulled that out as well to work with this fall. I am... What was that? That was a weird noise outside. Less convinced by this combination. I mean, it's not impossible, but I don't know. I think I like the MJ Cullinane decks with the Raven's Prophecy better, personally, but I'll still keep this deck out and work with it a bit. The funny thing for me about this deck is I do know this plant, but most of these plants I don't work with or know particularly well. Lemon balm I do have on my balcony. Passion flower I've never used. Reishi I've never used. I mean, fungi in general are not my thing. So this, as plant decks go, this sort of stretches my boundaries of what I tend to work with. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. So, yeah, unconvinced by the combination, but I'll still keep it out and see if I use it a bit more this fall. I think I bought it last winter, so, and I used it a bit in the spring, but the summer, yeah, it was not a summer deck situation for me. Okay. My other fall decks. Well, this one I wanted to try just for fun. I have serious doubts as to whether it will go together. But this is the Tarot of the Sweet Twilight. And it also seems like a fall deck to me. I've had it for a little while now. And I've never used it any other time of year. So, I mean, the colors don't necessarily not complement each other, but I think the energy is a bit not quite on the same playing field here. However, I'll keep all of these fall decks sort of at the front of my shelf for the time being, and probably just spend more time with them. Yep, not overly convinced by that, but it is a fun deck and I enjoy the surrealism of it, so I'll keep it out for just to play with a bit this fall and see what transpires. All right, so these are the decks I don't think will go match now, but they are fall decks. So this is the Weird of Sarah Howard, which is a sort of combination playing card deck and oracle. And it's got a very, it's not a fall deck to me, but it's a late summer deck. And since summer won't just quit, I mean, I'm ready for fall. I was ready for fall a month ago. But since it's still overly hot here, well, today's all right, but it's been overly hot. This seems to fit the season, the transition season, a little bit. So I may keep this out. I haven't used it, I've used it a little bit this summer. But I didn't actually use many cards at all this summer. So I may keep it out and just see if I use it for anything. And I mean, I don't, in terms of pairing them, I don't dislike the color combination, but the energy again is fairly different. But that's not really surprising to me. I just sort of got this one out because I'd moved into, with the rest of these decks, moved into a sort of showing my fall decks, and this is a transition from summer to fall deck for me, so that's that. And then the other two fall decks, which I don't think match particularly well, so I'll just pull the Raven's Prophecy to the side here. But they are, of course, the Oak, Ash, and Thorn and the Thistledown Oracle. And they are beautiful. These are two of my favorite decks, I think, possibly ever. I love the storybook, folklore, you know, fairy tales sort of vibe to it. And this was the first, I haven't used this Thistledown Oracle a lot yet because it just came. But this was the first card I pulled from it, which I love. So it's a little crow on a stack of books. And these two I think go quite well together. This one's got a bit more of the, I think there's some dragons, yeah. So it lives in the same world as both this and Smoke, Ash, and Embers, I think is the Dragon Tarot, which I don't have. So there are some sort of different qualities, but it kind of lives in the same universe. And I'm not really a dragons person, but that's a cute dragon. So yeah. See, I mean, he can even make a snake look cute. How incredible is that? Yeah. These are two that they've had out for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I love them. And they're both together on my dresser. And I use them together because they just suit each other too perfectly. So cute. Yeah. Yeah, even some of the cooler toned ones with dragons are still kind of fit the world of the Oak, Ash, and Thorn. So those are all my fall decks. Yeah, I'm going to keep these out and play with them for a while and see. We'll see by the end of the month, I guess. And into October, which ones I've actually been using. That's stunning. Oh my goodness. So beautiful. Anyway, got distracted by the pretty pictures. Which is easily done with these cards. So that's my mashup of deck pairing. What is that hashtag? Perfect pairing? Something like that. That I think Don Michelle uses a lot. Fall decks. There's a lot of autumn themed decks going around that I haven't watched yet. And one deck gone wild with the Raven's Prophecy. So, yeah. That's that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.